Ready, hot!
This rivalry before you got here?
Not much.
In your impressions, 13 years later, knowing what they say behind your bench, all that fun stuff every time you go to Stillwater?
I don't hear much of it. I got headphones on and working, to be honest with you, and I'm, like I said, I marvel at people who spend the energy to think I'm listening to them. But you know, it's what you want. But it's not unlike any other in-state rivalry in that the proximity, you know, and the fans and everybody, you know, all of that is, you know, is what everybody gets caught up in. But, you know, we simplify it till you get another, you know, it's execution in the game you got to play and win.
Does the fact that Oklahoma has owned the series and you've won 8 straight, does that play into the mindset of the game or the game itself at all?
I don't believe so. I've always been a firm believer, and even in some other series where we might have had a run going, that, you know, each and every year is its own unique body of work, and you got to earn it every single time. And that you've got to, you know, you got to have a great week of practice. You got to do what's necessary in the moment and in crunch time to make the plays that make the difference. And so, you know, now, does it give you confidence or an attitude that, sure, we're ready for this? Well, a lot of these guys were just there a year ago and have been in that moment that know, hey, well, you know, what has to be done, how you got to do it, and be ready for it. So I think it gives them some, you know, a sense of, sure, confidence that, you know, that we can do it again.
How did you grade the belt package?
Oh, you know, it was, we had some missed blocks, but, you know, to think you're going to go through 5 games and it's going to be, you know, 95%, I don't think, again, is very realistic. It's going to get stopped every now and then, and we came back on a couple of those occasions on 4th down and got it. So, you know, that's the game you play. Sometimes you get them, sometimes they get you. And to think we're the only ones that are going to get it all the time, again, isn't realistic.
I was told yesterday that Blake, that Josh has kind of not wanted Blake to do any interviews since he's been scoring a lot of touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. He's not been made available to the public. Talk about that mindset and that, you know, as a coach, whether it's Josh or whether it's you, of keeping a guy grounded and why you guys choose to do that.
Well, I think if you look at our history of quarterbacks in over now 13 seasons, it's been pretty positive in not just production and success, but how they've handled themselves, how they've, you know, the kind of guys they've been, the team guys they've been, the attitude in the locker room. I think it's fair to say, in a nice way, we haven't had a prima donna in the group, and sometimes a little too much attention, you know, before it's earned or not in the right proper way, sometimes can lead to that. So we've always been very conscientious about, you know, fighting that off. And Blake's just like these guys. He's not a, you know, he's a team guy, and he's popular in the locker room, which tells you he's one of them.
Bob, if they win this game, they've got an outside chance of playing for the national title, but it's a long shot, and it's going to come down to voters. Last week they were 5th in the coaches poll, which you vote. Are you willing to tell us where you voted them last week?
Of course not. You'll see my vote next week. So we all got a game to play.
The cliche in sports, or maybe just Sports Center, is you can't stop them, you can only hope to contain them. Does Oklahoma State fall into that? Can you not stop them without their help, but can you contain them? Or can you go out there and stop them with a great game?
Well, it's probably fair to say, I don't know how many in the last, I think this is right, I may not be right. In the last 4 games on the road, we've had over 600 yards too.
The
so,
same question could be asked of a defense.
well, my point is, I don't know that there are not many people being stopped totally, you know, overall. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say it's containing them, and you contain them, you know, to a few more points than you get, and that's what you're after. So, but we'll see, you know.
Does the pendulum swing back in a season or 2 or 5? Where there's a new way to play defense, and now the offenses have to respond again?
You know, I think it still gets down to, you know, not just schemes, but personnel and you know, and personnel issues that can stop people. And And so, I think it swings back eventually.
You try to get Trey Franks more involved in offense.
To a degree, sure.
Is that his track speed?
Yeah, that's fair to say, and so it'd be good if he'd step up and continue to make some big plays.
How has Ronell progressed at all, where there's even a remote chance he can play Saturday?
I don't see that. He said he wanted to, but he wants to, but I don't. That's not going to happen. As much as he wants to, I don't think he'd ever be cleared, and it hurts more than he wants it to know. You know what I mean? Those things take a while, and so I don't see that happening.
He was a real disruptive force. Well, he is in every game, but last year's game in particular, he made a couple of late plays. That's the kind of playmaking that I guess the question about stopping the Oklahoma State offense. That's the kind of playmaking you guys are going to need.
Sure.
Want somebody else to step up and do.
Yeah, but we had it last week. Frank Alexander and Corey Nelson had some big plays back there. So we'll see if these other guys can come through and make some of those plays.
You like Corey Nelson's at the end?
He did really well. So so we'll see how that moves forward.
Is there anything unique about the way they create turnovers, having so many?
Oh, you credit the discipline to be where they should be, or to break on the ball, or cover, or to force a poor throw, those kind of things. So anytime you're getting them, I always believe the defense has a hand in it. Then also I feel at times the offense sometimes assists you a little bit. But they credit them for forcing a good number of them.
Are there certain seasons when that's just the way that you play as a defense? You might give up more yards, but you can kind of mask it to some extent?
It can happen that way, and we've had some years where we've had more than others, and I think sometimes for whatever reason the offense gives you more opportunities for them too, and you take advantage of them. That's what they've done.
Well, your last two games knocked you out of the national title race, but if you win this game, you're the Big 12 champ. Is that, in your mind, sort of the baseline for a good year? When you look back, we won the championship, successful year.
Absolutely. How could it not be? Anyone else that doesn't believe so needs to have 10, 11 years where they didn't sniff one, and remember that, because we've had them here, and other teams that don't have them right now for 10, 11 years would love to have a chance to have another one and go to another BCS Bowl. So it will always be, in my mind, anytime you win a championship, a great year. And now, is it the ultimate? No, that's understandable, but it's still a great year when you're the champion.
Do you have any?
Just wondering. I'm thinking, will it be a great year for Oklahoma State if they win it?
We think so.
Okay, so
Do you have
there you have it.
It was July or August when you told the fans here in Oklahoma City, it's time we won one, and Travis was saying it's national championship or bust, and that got out a little bit. Do you have any regrets about the way that got going?
Not what I said. I didn't say anything. What you think? Our people didn't already think it's about time we get another one? I know how they are. So I didn't say, I didn't say what Travis said, that's all, it's that or nothing, and because I don't believe that. So I don't regret anything.
Seems like a lot of high-profile type pressure you're putting on yourself and your program.
Oh, as if it's not there? Okay, I know where I'm at, so.
I'm not talking about the place. I'm talking about the pressure. You say you know where you're at. You enjoy coaching at a place where that's the standard, and if you win 7 Big 12 titles in 11 years, people say, well, why didn't you win a second national title?
Yeah, but
that, or would you rather be at a place where the opportunities less, but the pressure's less?
Well, obviously I love where I'm at, so I'm smart enough to say that. So anyway, it's just the way it is, and but I'm also very aware of 10 years or so prior to where we were here, there wasn't any of them. And I don't think any were very close. I think we were in 3 bowl games in 10 years prior. So, anyway, I think we've done a fair amount to bring a decent reputation to Oklahoma and what we're doing.
They've had 3 different offensive coordinators but still had success. How difficult is that to do, to bring in somebody new and even though the system's similar?
Yeah, they've done a great job managing that. You do see, a lot of it though is carryover, so they've done a great job of being able to do it without really having to structurally change, at least last year to this year. So credit Mike, for doing a great job in managing that, because it can be, we've done it some too. It can be a little bit tricky.
What's your thoughts about all the coaches getting fired these days? You saw your brother get fired. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's just, I'm not talking about my brother, but just all the different coaches. It's a tough, it's a difficult profession to continually win at a high level or a level to please everybody. Some people, it's just you scratch your head. But I thought some coaches earlier on made some good points about the loyalty of coaches who move around. They do well at one job and I'm out of here, going to go get a different one, or then some schools change athletic directors or change presidents, and all of a sudden they're like, well, this isn't my guy, I'm going to get rid of him and get my own guy in here. So it kind of goes both ways sometimes. So it's just kind of unfortunate the way I guess a little bit of the patience or the but and I'm not saying some shouldn't be, maybe, because in the end everybody has to do what they feel is best for their school, and coaches, if they feel another opportunity is better for their family, they got to do it. But it's just kind of the way it is. So that's probably a long way of not saying much, but I tried anyway. Just kind of the way it is.
Could you break down Brandon Whedon compared to where he was last year? I think maybe he had a little bit of a hand injury. And how do you see him now?
I've always thought he's run their offense in a great way. I see him very, smart in how, going through his read progressions and seeing the spacing, throwing the football. You could tell he's just very comfortable in what they're asking him to do. So, he's had an excellent year.
Bob, you faced, obviously, Whedon, faced Chris Winkie. Older guys playing quarterback, it appears their age helps them as far as maturity. Do you have any philosophical problem with older guys like that playing college football?
Not really. Hey, good for them. They came back, got their education, had an experience. I'd never say. I guess you'd have to look at it. Why maybe not at some other sports they couldn't? But is it fair with everyone else? I don't know. But I'm all right with that. Heck, I guess want to take away this experience from anybody. As long as it's legitimate, and theirs is. So.
For reference yesterday to Jarvis Jones's compliance problem, can you clear up? Is there any chance he'll be able to play for a bowl game?
Don't know that yet.
Is there a timetable on that?
No.